Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and rainboots.com, and I'm going to be sharing a detailed cutie with you today. If you'd like to make him boop, just stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here crafting, and let me know if you're as excited as I am, because it's almost Christmas gnome making time. Okay, I'm going to be sharing some fun details, but supplies-wise, I'm going to be using this thrift store sweater. I washed it, and then this these are awful. Actually, they're just little foam ornaments. They're really horrible quality, but we have a 6.9-inch flat top cone. That is from the Dollar Tree. We need scissors and an X-Acto knife. You can use scissors to cut faux fur, just why it's harder. I'm going to be using something else for hands, but you can use wood beads, wood balls for noses and hands, any size that makes your heart happy. We are going to need some sticky poos, and these are just 6-inch dowels from the Dollar Tree. You can take one 12-inch and cut it down. You know, be a rebel. This is some inexpensive fur I got from Amazon and whatever extras you want. So I got some bells and some greenery. But first, I'm going to make these really pointy by sharpening both ends because I'm going to be I'm going to be I'm going to be pushing them up into the bottom of the gnome. I know you probably weren't expecting that, but it's true. Now, when I say these are cheap, they're super cheap. Now, there is a hole in the top of these. You will not want to go in the center. You actually want to go just back of center and just in of where the distributed legs you think should be. And that's because our cone is so light and so are these shoes that I'm going to teach you how to actually stabilize it all. These are perfect for shipping. So perfect for shipping because they're light. All right, I'm just going to push the second one in here, and you can see they are towards the back of the gnome booties and in towards the center. Now I'm going to fix this up because we're full service here at Ruffles and Rain Boots. We got shoe and boot repair. I'm just kidding. I'm gluing down all the soles. And now I'm going to play like I'm Wolverine. Anyway, I am going to use this or it's not a Dollar Tree, it's a thrift store sweater. I don't know where it's from. It had no tag, but I'm just going to tell you it's so soft and fluffy, and I have a theory it's going to go absolutely everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to cover the body and to make the hat, but I need to make the hat first so that I know where I want the body to end. So I'm just going to put a ruler up against my foam cone. This is 100% your choice. This top is already finished, so I'm going to use that as the top of my hat. So I'm going about 6.5 inches. These are the worst scissors for this ever. And of course, look at that. Because all the fluffy fabrics shed like crazy. Isn't that it's just me? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you the only way I clean these up is actually no longer blowing it off the table. It's with a lint roller. All right. So I'm going to use twine in order to match the twine bows on these boots. And I'm just going to tie up that portion at the top. Now, you can get all fancy and do whatever you want with some pleating, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tie it like that. I do make a bow to see if I want to match the bow, but I eventually scrap that idea. Now, because this is all fuzzy and floppy and we don't want fuzz to fall off, I'm going to hem this, just turning up the bottom. All right, now for the cone. I know that I'm going to use that as my ugly front because we're going to hide this big divot for some reason in the cone. But I also know where my hat is going to hit, so I need to make it about a 1/2 inch longer than that. I got out the good scissors. Becky with the good hair, right? Those are some fabric scissors. Now this seam is pretty obtrusive, so I want to cut that off. And now exactly what you think is going to happen is going to happen. All we're going to do is roll this. Now, do leave about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch at the bottom. Roll it around, overlap it a little, and then you've got the rest to create the body bottom and the arms. So I'm just going to create a body bottom by, guesstimating, and then we'll just trim it in a second. Okay, just add some glue onto there, trims, and then trim some more. There we go. We're done with that whole section. Now we're going to add some glue, and we're just going to pop our cone on and then glue and roll. It's like stop, drop, and roll, except there is no fire. So it's a good day. Now at the end, I'm just going to hem over this edge so it doesn't leak little happy fuzz all over the place. And then I'm going to glue it down. I don't know why I'm so feisty during this voiceover. Whew. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like I'm Chris. Oh, by the way, this started out as a fall gnome and took a turn. And that happens. So I was gonna share a fall gnome with you today, but he didn't want to be a fall gnome. All right, the ugly seam I'm going to cover with some faux fur. If you don't know how to cut faux fur using an X-Acto knife, score the back of the fabric only and just yank it apart. Super easy. You get this nice big fluff. Unless you cut it with some scissors like that. See all that ugly bit at the bottom that's just hacked off from the cutters over there at Amazon? We're going to correct that in just a minute because I can't live with it. I try because done is better than perfect, but I can't. So now I'm just cutting it into a very wide V, and I'm just going to look at it and then decide I despise this bottom that looks all hacked up. So I'm going to take the world's teeniest, tiniest little cut off of this thing and try and get it up a little higher so we have a little bit more drape instead of a hacked off version of some fur. Because when your dog gets a bad haircut from the groomers, it looks like that. All right, so now we're good. I'm just going to use this piece, makes me happier. But done is better than perfect, and I do not want to waste any faux fur. So now I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and glue this entire thing over the ugly seam I created so he's got a nice back side for viewing. That's not what I meant. That came out wrong. I apologize. This is a PG channel. It's PG-13 at least. I'm just taking my glue gun and gluing down all of the side pieces. Decide that both of the size noses I took out are just not going to work. We need a 1-inch wood round. All right, so you can see this is the back of our gnome. We're not going to put it in the center. It will fall over and everybody will be upset. Most of all, this handsome fella. You can always poke the fabric with an X-Acto knife, but these are sharpened within an inch of my life. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to line it up. Again, it's to the back. It is not to the center. And I'm just going to yeet it right on there. Just push it down. Ready? Bloop. There you go. Look at that. Now watch. In my drop test, he's solid. He wibbles and wobbles because he's all foam. But once we get the extra weight on there, he's going to be pretty solid. So I'm going to line up that flat part of the hat with the flat part of the back. I just stabbed him in the back. Did anybody just think, et tu, Brute? I'm sorry, little man. But I put a pin in the back of his hat so I can just tie this on without anything moving because I need to create the arms. Man, I feel bad that I stabbed him so viciously with a pin. I didn't realize it was that. Maybe I was working through something. I don't know. All right, we're just creating some rectangles. Now, I did decide that I wanted to use these fabulous vintage looking bells from the Hobby Lobby, or the Lobby of Hobbies, as we call it around here. And I'm just going to take the cast offs of our little sweater and I'm just going to roll it in on itself. If you want posable arms, I don't recommend doing this, but you can put a piece of wire just in the arm. If you do want posable arms, I recommend putting the wire all the way through the center of the gnome. All right, let's make these cool little mittens with some scrap fabric. These mittens, I get asked probably 3 times a week to do videos on these mittens starting in about October, every single week. And instead, I'm just going to now cut this piece of video and just show you it's this easy. Take 2 pieces of fleece. It's got to be fleece and it has to be stretchy on the right to left, so on the horizontal plane. Most fleece isn't 4-way stretch. So what you're going to do is create a U where the opening is on the non-stretchy part, and then you're just going to create the U in hot glue and let it sit. I push these together. Now I know I say never push them together, but if you push them together, you get the nice little U-shaped divot in the fleece that you can follow with your scissors. With your very sharp, very long, kind of dangerous sewing scissors. I usually reserve these for not near my finger crafts. Okay, so now I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm just going to grab the end and pop it out. Then I'm going to use the needle nose pliers to pop out all the inside little bits and make it all rounded. Looky, looky, here comes Cookie. Hack off the bit at the top because no one wants a really long mitten. And then you're just going to tuck the arm in. And we're going to add some twine later, but just, again, We're going with the stretch on the horizontal of the fleece. Makes everything a little bit easier to turn round. Now, your goal is to get these about the same size, and it doesn't have to be perfect. No one is looking at perfect, okay? All right, now we're just going to do the same exact thing as we did before. Watch your digits. Don't cut them off. Sewing scissors are no joke. Okay, so I'm just going to round this off. Again, I'm staying about a quarter of an inch away from that glue line. That's it. This is real time, by the way. Nothing is sped up here. This is so quick to make. All right, so we're going to pop it out again, take the little needle nose pliers, and then just do. Oh, if you have hemostats, those will work as well. Why do you have hemostats? I do somewhere. Don't know where they are. All right, tuck the other arm in, cut 2 pieces of twine, and just tie these bad boys on. Do you have to glue them? Yes, you can. Do I want to glue them? Nope. I'm lazy today, and I'm just making stuff to make it because it's 104 degrees here in Texas. And as fun as you think that may be, I'm wishing for cooler days. So like I said, this guy was supposed to be a fall gnome, but he turned out a little Christmassy. All right, so here's my little hands. I'm going to raise up, so I still have the pin in the back of the hat. I'm going to raise up the front, glue down the top of the hat first, and then I'm going to pin these arms in just so I can get an idea of where everything goes. These are the Lobby of Hobby bells. They have them in like 3 sizes. I'm going to have to redo my entire downstairs Christmas decorations to fit more of these in because I love them. But before we get to the bells, I'm going to glue on his little nose so I can know where I'm going to put this bell. So I ended up trying a lot of different places. I put it in his hat, I put it in his hands, I put it the bell by itself in his little hands to hold them. It was probably 15 minutes of just that, which I edited out because you don't want to see me being indecisive. So I'm going to glue the arms down, and yes, I glue them to the foam and to the fabric right above the beard, any kind of secure join that you can get. And now I'm going to reattach the hat because remember we had just tied it on. Now, one thing about this, I wanted a hat to have a wide brim without doing any work. So that is why I used a wide portion at the bottom, and I'm going to cinch it tight with this twine. Cinch. And what happens when you cinch it tight is the bottom will like flare out. That's what we want. We don't want a bow, so let's just hack off the edges here and glue down the hat to the top of the nose. Le boop. All right, now again, I took another 5 minutes just to be sure where I wanted this little bell. I twist it around itself because it's like on a wire, and then I just snip off the last little bits and then decide I really hate that bow up there too. Bows on the boots are enough bows. He's a masculine guy. Look at him. And then here you are with his little Humpty Dumpty belly, which I love. But what do you think? Did you like the little tip about using the foam booties, or did you like the tip about how to make these things look awesome with some hot glue? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun. Look how cute he is.